So, Angel Reese gave an interview talking about the off season, and today we are going to be talking about that here. Some interesting answers, some good answers, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Chicago Sky, because I think what the Sky really need to do is they need to zag. I think they're going to zig. They need to zag. I think the Sky are going to tank for another year. That is just my prediction. Is I'm looking at next year, and the Mystics are going to be better than them. The Mystics are going to be better than the Sky. And, even though the Mystics were obviously slightly better than this year, the Mystics are going to be better than the Sky. The Dream are going to probably be better than the Sky. The Wings are going to be better than the Sky. And these are teams that are in and around the same area. The only team that I could see maybe dropping are the Mercury for injuries. But the league is now almost overflowing with talent, and the Chicago Sky are in a really rough spot for their short-term future. They've got their long-term future set. I don't think they need to look for a power forward or a center anytime soon. Cardoso, Reese, fine. Kennedy Carter, you keep her, but you're gonna have to offer her a lot of money to keep Kennedy Carter. So, I know they do have quite a bit of cap room, but it's who do you bring in with the Izzy Harrison money? Who do you bring in with the Diamond to Shields money? And because Banham's still on contract, and people don't realize this, Mariah Jefferson is making, for everyone talking about Katie Lou Samuelson money, Mariah Jefferson's making that same money for Chicago. So I think you're gonna have to give Kennedy Carter 150K. You probably have one max slot with I don't think anyone that's gonna be willing to go to a tanking team in that max slot. So you're probably gonna have to overpay. You're not gonna have to overpay Natasha Howard, but realistically, the best thing you should do is go to Europe. And I think that's what a lot of teams should do, because you can get good young players there in Europe, especially ones that never came over to the W. But the reality of this is that of the max contract level free agents, none of them are coming to Chicago, especially before the new practice facility is there. You're going to have to, the best I think they can hope for, because there's no point guards. I'm looking through this, and it's for me, I would overpay Walker Kimbrough. I would use her in that Dana Evans 6-woman role. I'd overpay Walker Kimbrough. As far as the draft is concerned, I would pray Olivia Miles falls into your lap. No matter what. I would not be... I've seen a mock draft in ESPN. I would not be tempted to take Anissa Morrow. Anissa Morrow does not fit. Anissa Morrow is basically just, as far as fit is concerned, she can't shoot the ball. Nobody can be signed that can't shoot the ball. So players that I would be looking for I would be looking for Natasha Heidemann. I think Natasha Heidemann could be a really, really good point guard for this team. If you can run, I know she's a bit of a scoring guard, but if you have Natasha Heidemann, Kennedy Carter, Heidemann can shoot. You need that shooting guard, whereas a lot of these players re-signed. So I'm looking through them, players that would fit. If you're looking for players that really would fit, I don't know what EORFA means, but Leah Rue wants to go to a contender. You're not going to get Leah Rue, I know, as a backup to Cardoso. Dana Evans obviously gone. Onion Ware, you're going to have to re-sign Onion Ware. There's no way you let Onion Ware walk in free agency. Tiffany Hayes is going to retire again. It's a really weak free agency class because everyone's waiting for that 2026 free agency. So I think it's going to be really difficult this offseason to get anybody. The problem is what you don't want to do is, for example, say, who is the best player available right now that we could potentially get? I know, hypothetically, Bree Jones. Let's go and get Bree Jones in. There's no way Satu goes now. Maybe in a few years' time, when the organization isn't a complete shit show, Satu might come, because she does seem to like Angel Reese, but she's not coming this year. No one's going to go this year. Especially when the only reason she'd be leaving Dallas is if she's pissed off with how bad the season went, but she wasn't there for the bad part of the season. Kelsey Mitchell's not going to Chicago, and she's a terrible fit anyway. So it's Bree Jones, maybe, if the Sun don't want to keep her, but she's off an Achilles tear, benches Cardoso. Parker Tyus is a dumb decision. Maisha Hines-Allen. And as good as Maisha Hines-Allen could be at that 4, you're looking at you're now looking at a situation where with her, you're probably going to have to give her close to a max, and she doesn't fit. Like, she basically is better Izzy Harrison. And you can't play her at the 3, really. But this is what Angel Reese says. Her off-season priority: nutrition, fitness, strength, footwork in the post, finishing through contact within the restricted area, shooting efficiency from outside the restricted area. I think not a bad thing. I think it's hard. It's going to be hard enough to work on it. Like, the best thing is once she develops a mid-range shot like Age, it's like, if Angel Reese, it's a 5-year job to develop. Like, she needs to tear down her jump shot. She needs to tear it down. She needs to tear down all her mechanics. The jump shot needs to be torn down. The layups need to be torn down. Like, that is a multiple year job. But if Angel Reese can come in next year and just be able to make more open layups, like if she just does some mic and drills and stop shot putting at the basket, she will probably average the same amount of points but do it on less shots. So that's going to be a big thing for her. And then it says here on the expectations for the front office: I am a good GM. She says she's been able to give input. Fair enough, she is like the star player of this team, but also trust him to assemble. It's, interesting enough thing to say. But she says she's told Coach Weatherspoon at the end of the season, "You were too nice." Reveals she feels lucky to play under Coach Spoon, which again is good. Again, I don't think there's a coach that would have been better for Angel Reese than Witherspoon. I don't think there's another coach who would have started her straight away. And I think that was, in hindsight, the complete right decision. And it says here, obviously players reach out and say they would love to play me, so I just let GM know, and he does what he wants. And it's like, I wonder who's in that. Like, it's obvious. Like, at this moment, it's not Satu, but it is an interesting one. Like, that's a very, very, I don't know. Like, I don't hate the answer because it's the truth with all stars, but it's like, this is the GM or GM. GML instead of Angel. I don't know. But yeah, this is obviously you're going to give your input, but when it comes to the GM, it's like they obviously have to make their own decisions. And we've seen player GMs normally don't work because I think there is like that a lot of times when people are on the team, they're like, "Oh, we can fix this player," and it's like maybe not. But I don't really see a free agent that's available. I would be a bit worried though that one of her inputs would be, especially when it comes to the draft, is to draft Anissa Morrow if they get third. I would be very, very opposed to drafting Anissa Morrow if I was a Chicago Sky. I would be very opposed to it because as good as Anissa Morrow is, I would be very, very much on the side of you draft Olivia Miles at all costs if she's healthy. AZ Foot is better than her. And I know it might be a bit of a long shot at 3, but depending on how she gets on, Sonia Citron is a perfect fit for this team. I know there's other factors in maybe why you wouldn't draft Sonia Citron into the team, but she could be a superb fit. With like purely basketball fit with the team. But it's good to see that she's talking about the off season and her answers were purely basketball. Like I like to see that, and she's like, "This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing." I'm gonna go do some modeling. I'm gonna work on my podcast, which I honestly, when I saw the title of the interview, I actually expected that to be what she was talking about. But it's good that she did focus on basketball. It's good she talked about basketball. That's a good all around thing because the better Angel Reese is, the better it is for basketball. The better the Sky is. Look, I think the rivalry's over. I think the rivalry next season is going to be probably Angel versus Kiki Iriafen, Caitlin Clark versus Paige Beckers. I have a feeling what's going to happen is people are going to use this college season because I think this college season as a whole is going to be as watched as last season's, and a lot of people are going to be talking about how this draft class is better than last year's draft class, and it's going to be almost a Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese versus a Paige and Kiki Iriafen or whoever the hell comes out a second in the draft. I think that's going to be one of the talking points. I mean, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.